The desert no longer whispered. It roared. The blood of stars soaked into the sand, and every grain remembered, not just the battles, but the lies, the betrayals, the silence. And now, the dust would speak. For those who could no longer scream, for those who died forgotten, for those who dared to remember, Kale stood at the edge of the world, where history was buried, and truth demanded to rise. The wind howled across the ruins of Zereth Prime, no longer just a dead planet, but a graveyard echoing with defiance. Kale tightened the wrappings on his arms. The burns from the last encounter still throbbed, but pain was just another form of memory now. Something to be honored, not avoided. Around him, the last remnants of the Resistance, the Starborn, prepared their final stand. Silent, focused, scarred. None expected to survive the coming assault. And yet, not one turned away. Yura approached from the shadow of a crumbling spire. Her eyes, sharp as ever, searched his face. "You sure about this?" she asked. "There's no coming back from it." Kale didn't look at her. His gaze was fixed on the obsidian monoliths rising from the sand. Ancient pylons older than any map. The enemy's chrono beacon pulsed among them, bending time like a broken mirror. "I'm not here to come back," he said. "I'm here to make sure they don't rewrite everything." A pause. Yura stepped closer. "We're not just fighting for the future anymore," she said. "This is about memory, Kale. If they erase us, it's like we never existed." Kale finally looked at her and smiled, though there was no joy in it. "That's why we'll make the dust remember." The enemy came with fire, time walkers in white armor, moving like ghosts. Their weapons didn't just burn flesh, they unspooled it from reality. Every soldier lost was not just killed, but erased. Kale led the charge. He moved like a storm through time glitches and collapsing stone, twin blades humming with resonance. He wasn't just fighting to win. He was recording. Each move, each breath, each drop of blood meant to leave an imprint in the sand. The dust, he believed, could carry memory deeper than time. A soldier fell beside him, screaming. But even his scream fractured, fragmented, lost in a time loop trap. Kale drove his blade into the emitter crack, and the loop shattered. Time resumed. The scream finished. It was the worst sound he'd ever heard, and the most real. High above, a chrono crucible detonated, unleashing a wave of quantum displacement. The battlefield twisted, mountains inverted, skies turned into oceans, stars blinked backward. But Kale kept moving forward. He reached the central pylon. The pulse of the beacon made his vision blur, his memories shift. He saw himself as a boy, then an old man, then someone else entirely. He gritted his teeth. Not this time. From his pack, he pulled the Dust Codex, etched not on paper, but in sand fused with neural thread. It was their story. Every name, every death, every choice. He placed it at the foot of the pylon. The beacon flared. In the time stream beyond, a voice emerged, calm, cruel, familiar. "You can't win, Kale." It was Terran, or the version of Terran that had become one with the Convergence. His brother, lost to time, now a weapon of the enemy. "They will forget you. Your sacrifice. Your truth. We will overwrite it all." Kale closed his eyes. "Maybe," he said quietly, "but not before I burn into the bones of this world." He drove his blade into the codex. The pylon shook. Time shivered. The sky split open. A wave of memory burst in the ground, rushing outward like a sandstorm of thought. It wasn't sound. It wasn't light. It was truth. Images, faces, moments flashed through the minds of every soldier on the battlefield, of every civilian watching from hidden camps, of every soul connected to the Resistance's last neural link. They remembered. Yura wept as the image of her sister, lost in the first raid, flared across her vision. Others dropped their weapons, stunned by the sheer weight of what had been forgotten. Even the enemy staggered. Even the ghost paused. Kale fell to one knee. Blood poured from his nose. His body couldn't contain the feedback, but he smiled, because now, even if he died, the dust would speak, and someone would hear. The echo of the Codex pulse hadn't faded, But the world had changed. Kale lay still, breast shallow, as if the air itself had turned to memory. Heavy, sacred, impossible to inhale. The sky above was no longer the same color. The sun had stopped flickering. Yura knelt beside him, blood on her cheek, hands trembling. "Kale, don't you dare." He opened his eyes, barely. "Did it work?" he whispered. She nodded, tears catching light. They remember, all of them, even the ones they tried to erase. He coughed, dry cracked. "Then I can sleep now." "No," Yura said, voice breaking. "You rest when we win." Across the shattered dunes, the army of Convergence faltered. For the first time, they hesitated. Their time weapons stuttered. Soldiers looked around, disoriented, seeing flashes of lives they never lived, battles they never fought, children they never had. The Codex had done more than preserve memory. It had restored possibilities. Kale's truth, etched in the dust, was infecting the time stream. Deep within the Convergence mothership, alarms blared. Terran stood before a shifting wall of timelines, his face twisted in rage. "He's anchored emotion to memory," the technician reported. "The dust, it's carrying emotional residue. It's contagious." Terran smashed his fist into console. "Shut it down. Collapse the node." "But, sir," I said collapse it. He turned toward the chromal interface, eyes glowing with fury. "I'll kill him myself. Again if I have to." Yura helped Kale onto his feet. "You're not going to believe this," she said, looking out across the battlefield. He followed her gaze. Where the sandstorm of memory had passed, the old ruins had changed. They were rebuilt, not fully, not physically, but remembered into form. The city of Zereth Prime wasn't just ruins anymore. It was a memory that refused to die, and memories were harder to erase than stone. A sudden tremor cracked the air. The monoliths groaned. A new portal opened, ripping sideways through time. Terran stepped through, armored in living crystal, wielding a blade made of raw history, a weapon sharpened by every timeline Kale had lost. "Told you I'd come," he growled. Kale stood straighter. His voice, though strained, held firm. "Then let's end it, brother." The final duel wasn't about strength. It was about truth. Terran fought like a man bound to a lie he couldn't escape. Kale fought like someone who had already died and come back not for vengeance, but for meaning. Each blow rewrote fragments of the world around them. The sky flashed between dawn and dusk. Ruins rose, collapsed, and rose again. Time bled in slow motion. Then, Kale disarmed him. Terran fell, clutching the wound, disbelief in his eyes. "You were always the weak one," he gasped. Kale shook his head. "No, I was the one who remembered." Terran collapsed, not in blood, but in silence. The dust did not take him. It rejected him. The Convergence connection snapped. Above, their ships began to flicker out of sync, glitching, unraveling. They had lost their anchor, without control of memory. Their timelines could no longer hold. The war was ending. Kale stood alone at the center of the battlefield. All around him, the survivors gathered, human and otherwise. The resistance, the starborn, even former enemies, drawn together by what they just felt. The Codex lay quiet now, its glow dim, but the sand beneath it shimmered. Someone whispered, "The dust speaks." And it did. The ground pulsed with the stories of those lost. Echoes of lives once forgotten now returned. Children who had died in time bombs were now names on everyone's lips. Mothers, fathers, lovers, fighters. No longer shadows. No longer silent. Yura stepped beside Kale, looking out across the broken horizon. "What now?" she asked. He exhaled long and slow. "We build," he said. "Not just cities, not just fleets." He touched the sand. It pulsed gently under his fingers. "We build memory, and we teach the dust to sing forever." A child wandered the ruins of old Zereth, long since buried again beneath time. She knelt beside a strange monolith, half eroded by wind, pressed her ear to it. For a moment, she heard something. Not a sound, a feeling, a name, a battle, a truth. She smiled. It remembers. Her mother called her from the dune. Coming! She ran, the desert wind behind her, and far beneath her feet, the dust whispered, as it always had, as it always would.